Here.
Mayor Cozy.
Here.
Attorney Doss.
Here.
Alderman Sykes.
Here.
Will everybody join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item we have is the consent agenda. The council report, March 17th through March 30th, 2023. Executive session meeting minutes, March 20th, 2023. And the Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, March 20th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Now, roll call, please.
Alderman Beeman.
Aye.
Alderman Salem. Aye. Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinances, we have none. Unfinished business, we have the 2023 past due business licenses. So about 30 of them outstanding. Are we in the fine process of that yet? Or no? Just late penalties?
No, we haven't. Normally the process is once your staff strikes out, then you turn them over to me. I send them a letter. If not, then we prosecute them and charge them in court with, because each day of violation is a separate offense. And we'll start that whenever you tell us to.
You've reached out a few times, I believe, with most of these.
We'll make one more.
One more time.
Get that done this week.
We have the 2023 Reality Youth Rally request back. They changed their date to, I think it was May 13th. They're like from 12 to 6. So we're on daylight hours now.
Yeah, it's inside the curtain.
And Chief, they did meet with you and you're
And I
okay
approve
with
their safety plan, yes.
Okay, good deal.
And there'll be no extra officers on scene. They'll be covered with the road officers on duty.
Okay, perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve the Reality 2023 Youth Rally request for Orchard Park on May 13th.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Salem. Aye. Alderman Beeman.
Aye.
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the city hall roof update with Tremco.
Yeah, we met with them to go over the scope from the original project, and then we, as they got up on the roof, because the first day they looked at it was raining, and they couldn't really do a lot, so they went back up and looked at it. So they've added a couple of items, and just so you know, they'll be here to present the complete package on for the 17th board ball meeting. So this is just a preliminary. They're still get some things together now. But what their process with them, with Tremco is, one, they're the manufacturer of the products. So we're able to buy everything at manufacturer's cost. So that's one thing by using it. They manage the project start to finish. They do. They put everything out for bid. All of the work is done through union scale, union contract, so we won't have any issues with hiring non-union labor. So they basically gave us some alternates. You'll be able to see that. They'll be here again to discuss those alternates. These were all things that we added past their original scope of work. So it's really, I mean, this building was built in '86. Doesn't really have a lot of maintenance done to it, so this is an opportunity to correct some areas. Obviously, there's some brickwork, some tuck pointing, some concrete work out the back that needs to be addressed. There's also, the original part was just to do the gymnasium roof, and so they gave us an alternate bid to do the roof over the administrative offices, which obviously it leaks to. Apparently it's bubbling and bad shape. There's a color packet I can provide you with pictures of what they reviewed. So this is just a preliminary to give you an idea. Again, this is ARPA money that we talked about. It is, considerably more money to do all of it, all the work from what we originally were looking at. So that's why. But the advantage of doing it all at the same time would be they don't have to go out there and bid it.
Sounds like they're
Material costs
fighting, but-
go up.
Sounds like they're
We've got,
fighting.
once the contractors are here, it's a lot cheaper for them to do all the work as opposed to coming back and doing a piecemeal. Obviously the ARPA funds are gonna run out at some point, so it's a use or lose situation on that, so, anyway, it's, most of the scope of work looks like things that were probably, worth doing. This alternate 3 that you see in your packet would be to actually remove the scuttle boxes that are on there. And so that would be an add-on as opposed to just repairing it and doing everything the way it is, leaving the architecture the way it is. So that 7145 would not necessarily be added to this one. And then originally we were looking at like 8 windows. We went to actually got a closer look, and I think there's 13 windows that have to be replaced. It's just the glass, it's not the metalwork framing and all that, so it would be replacement glass, and then they would put new seals and those kind of things. So, but they'll be here again in 2 weeks with a full proposal to explain it, meet the board, and address any issues. And at that point, then you would give the opportunity to vote yes or no or down, see which way. But from a scope of work, they'll be ready to start in May, and it's at worst a 60-day project, right, Craig? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
60-day project. So, but again, what you have in your packet is just a preliminary to give you an opportunity to. They've literally done. He gave me a list of all of their from schools to municipal buildings and everything else that they've done around, and it's literally every one in the county, every school, all municipal buildings and everything else. So this is what they do. They don't do like building additions or anything else. They just do building maintenance. So. I wanted you to have this so you can look at it and let me know with any questions you have that I can bring up with the contractors. And a heads up for the big ouch. Yeah, it's there is a price tag attached. Everything went up, obviously, and it's there's no signs that anything's going to get cheaper in the coming 6 months. So, but anyway, yeah. So they'll be ready to go completely, and as soon as we can agree to it, they'll have the people out. We'll have a pre-construction meeting with Craig, and then we'll move forward. This is preliminary to peruse.
Thank you. Next, we have the Evergreen Pavilion Road that's completed. How many people have seen it? It really, really looks good.
Looks very nice.
Yeah. I think it really stands out over there.
Yeah, it is nice. In that pavilion, we've ordered signs. It was not part of the original plan to do that, but I really feel like that we need to recognize all those facilities that have been built and donated around. I think we're going to try to, if these placards come in and they look nice, we're going to look at doing that for all of our facilities so that we can recognize the groups that did it. Like I said, I mean, this was, it's been in the city property for a long time. I don't think it's ever been on the rental list. It's been added to our rental list and everything else too. So.
We should recognize them, especially the Clair Building Trades and Jack Durkin for
They did a tremendous
doing
job.
a fantastic job. No new business. Attorney Boss.
Nothing, Mayor?
Administrator Loper.
We, as you may or may not know, we had the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, despite the blustering wind. And you know, Alderman Sykes did a great job kind of spearheading that. We had 7, I think, Chief. 7 of the police spouses were there, did a great job as volunteers. Did a great job. I think you had several of your officers that came there off duty. I'm gonna guess 250 people, maybe, at least.
It was
I
well
was
attended.
thinking 3.
Yeah, I would
Closer
say
to 3,
closer to
maybe.
3,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So I thought it was well organized. Maybe get together and talk about what to do next year. But
Yeah, there's some brainstorming that needs to be done and some afterthoughts, but, you know, I think overall it was a great event. It was lots of fun. And, you know, who knew that chasing Easter eggs could be as fun as finding them? You know, I
the
mean,
wind blew most of them around.
yeah, when you hide on a playground that's poured rubber surface and it's windy, it's, you know, eggs don't stay in one place. So it was lots of fun.
I was worried about the toddlers.
More
falling
fun.
over.
Oh, more fun.
More
Right,
fun.
so shout out to everybody that put in a lot of volunteer time. I think it was great activity. I just want to thank everybody for all the effort they put in. Chief, pass that along to your staff. We appreciate it very much.
And thank you to farmers and merchants and the other businesses that
Sure, oh yeah, that's
supported that and donated all of the needed items, because it wouldn't have happened without that community support.
Right, I mean, those are great when we do those kind of things, and there's no taxpayer dollars at all.
Correct.
So, that's all I have.
Jason's not here.
I had a question about the park report. I noticed on there that there was some issue with the soccer field. Do we have any insight on that, or do we know if we have anything that's going to give us the opportunity to work with them on recouping that damage
They
cost?
came back.
Okay.
They already came, we were discussing that this morning.
Okay.
And I have a 20-minute conversation with them, and they're willing to do whatever we ask them to do, yeah.
Great.
We even talked about maybe possibly taking some grass or sod that we have from other parks that we need to get rid of,
Okay.
and they'd be willing to provide any man hours, labor hours to put that back on. In fact, maybe they want to address the board on the 17th is to, they'd like to raise money to possibly get a turf field installed in its place. So
Wow.
they want
Okay.
they want to provide and work with the city, but they want to get, they want to raise funds to put turf down.
Lots of exciting, fun things happening in our parks right now. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's great. I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
soccer season's quickly approaching, if not already here for practices and stuff, so I just want to make sure we had addressed that.
Yeah, and then as soon as they're done, when they're raised, they're going to come in and reseed everybody.
Perfect.
Back.
Thank you.
Chief, do you have anything?
Nothing additional at this time.
Mr. Sullivan?
Nothing additional at this time.
Alderman Beal?
Well, next Monday, hopefully we'll have a meeting, correct?
Yes.
And hopefully we can put the fence adjustments to bed next meeting, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
We've addressed that. We're looking at what other communities have in the area about fence ordinances, and surprisingly, no one has anything about front yard fence ordinances.
It appears that St. Clair is the only town that wants them. You know, I used to make a lot of deliveries in Chesterfield, Ladue, Frontenac, Creve Coeur. You never saw a fence in the front yard in those places, Baldwin, Ellisville. They never had fences in the front yard.
Right.
It just must be something St. Clair has an itching to do.
It's the country life and the white picket fence. Maybe that's what it is.
I guess.
It could be
It's
completely
not-
charming.
Unfortunately, it's not a white picket fence that they all put up.
That was my question. That was my,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so I know Craig spent a lot of time researching that. We're going to continue to do it. Like you said, by Monday, hopefully we can have something really easy about it.
Alderman Beelan, is that planning and zoning meeting at 7?
6.
6, okay, I thought it was different. but just
We
wanted to
changed it to 6 o'clock.
check.
All the meetings at 6.
All meetings is, okay. I thought I remembered it changing, but so second guessing myself.
Do any of the other board members have anything?
I'd just like to give a quick land and water conservation grant update. So I spoke with the grant administrator, and we agreed between Administrator Lippert and myself and her that we would extend our deadline for accepting bid packets, because we hadn't really gotten a lot of response at the beginning, and then when we started sending emails and making contacts, everybody was like scrambling. So we wanted quality over just quantity of bids. So we did extend that to the 14th of April. But everything else should be able to move just a little quicker, but along the same timeline as we first did that. And I have received at least 5 communications from companies that have promised bids to come in. So hopefully we'll have a great competitive bid process. So
For
we're
the next
excited.
meeting,
If they won't be ready, well, we'll open on the 14th, and then it has to go through the grants administrator and all of the boxes checked and everything. So I don't think we'll vote on it, Board of Aldermen meeting in April, but hopefully the first one in May.
That's primarily for install.
The scope of work is the entire grant.
Okay.
Every packet will be
Okay.
doing everything from installation all the way through. Yeah.
What about removal?
The removal is going to be done by community volunteers. I have business owners that have the equipment needed to like move all of the mulch and everything that have already agreed to volunteer their time. So the plan is, unless something changes, that when the contractors get here, they will have just flat dirt, and we'll begin laying all of their, base lay and everything for the poured rubber surface themselves. So.
Is the old one gonna have any value?
Per insurance, the old one can have no value, so we have to dispose of it or put it somewhere where it cannot be used under
By anybody else?
by anyone else, right? Yeah. Some of it will be scrappable, but most of it's plastic, so we're just gonna have to figure out how to dispose of a lot of plastic.
Very good, thank you. Any other board members? Public participation. Does anyone wish to address the board? Please use the podium and state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name's Sierra Skiles, and my address is 88 Chucker Court. I live here in town. This is my first time speaking at one of these things, but I'm here to speak on behalf of everybody who wants to implement a skate park in town. I know there's a lot of liability and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but it would give kids a really good place to practice sports and get out of the house, and I think it would be a good idea. There's not a lot to do around here for kids, and I just think it attracts all different ages. It could bring in tax revenue. I think I don't know if you know this, but it's an Olympic sport now, so I mean it would give people a place to practice. It would give younger generations, they don't have a lot of things to do around here. They mostly just stay inside on their phones and on their tablets and stuff, so it would be a good idea to get something for them to do outside other than sit in the house all day. We have access to a lot of people who have built skate parks around here, and we have a lot of access to charities and skate park projects and people we know who would be willing to fund it or help us fund it. And yeah, I really don't have anything else to say other than that. But if you have any questions for me or anything?
You mentioned funding.
Yes.
How much of the funding will you have? 80%, 50%?
Well, I was thinking maybe if we could get 50%, maybe the city would be willing to match it.
I've never seen a skate park except what I see on TV where they're doing the competition or whatever.
Right.
Is it above ground, in ground? Is it those things where they skate up and then they do a flip in the air and come back down? Is that what
Yeah, a
you're
little
talking
bit
about?
like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Washington, with the liability stuff, they have a rule where the ramps can't be higher than 5 foot, so I mean, there's something that may be able to help, or they could put signs up like skate at your own risk, or wear your helmets, wear your safety pads and stuff, and there was talk about a QR code.